Mark Fisher here, pastry chef here at Indian Hills Community College. I'm back again to do another demo. Today I'm going to be doing cannolis. Cannolis consist of two components, the shell part and the filling part. And I'll talk more about the filling in a little bit, but I want to get into mixing the dough up first. There's a little sequence in that. The dough consists of flour, pastry flour, bread flour, sugar, egg, white wine. You can use a red wine, any type of white wine will work too. The wine, what it does to the dough, it gives a flavor, of course, but also it tenderizes the gluten in the dough, so it relaxes and rolls out a lot easier for you. So in my mixer here, I got my flours, sugar, and my butter. I'm going to mix that up just until it starts to come together a little bit. And then I'm going to add my wine and my whole egg. Pretty simple dough to make. Just let it come together, knead together to a nice smooth dough. Once that mixes and comes together, you take it off. You want to wrap it and let it set for about 20 to 30 minutes to let the gluten in the dough relax. So it makes it a lot easier to roll it out. Occasionally, if the dough seems a little dry, you could add just a little water to it just to kind of loosen it up. Now, if you didn't have a mixer at home, you could do this by hand. A little more work, a little more time, but it doesn't take very much for it to come together. Just knead it just like you would any other type of a bread dough. The only thing you don't have to worry about this, there's no leaveners in this here to make it rise like a yeast. After you knead it like this here, just put a little flour on your table, cover it, and let it set for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then your dough is going to be really, as you can tell from now, it's really tough. After it's set, it gets really nice and elastic for you. It makes it a lot easier to roll out. So now we're going to go ahead, we're going to roll this out. You want to get it down to at least 1/8 of an inch thick. If you get it too thick, when you go to fry them, the dough itself will puff up too thick for you, make too fat of a shell. Just like working with any dough, this is pretty tough dough. It has a pretty tough gluten development in it, so you can work it pretty hard. It's not going to damage it too much. But you always want to pick it up, move it around, make sure it's not sticking on your table or on your bench, and let the dough relax as you're rolling it out. Some of you might want to know, what is a cannoli? Cannoli is an Italian fried pastry, mainly used after a nice Italian dinner, maybe a pasta dinner you might have. You complement that with a cannoli. It's filled with a cream cheese type filling. You can kick it up a little bit if you want in your dough. If you want to put some herbs in it, spice it up a little bit, you can do that in your dough. Also, your filling. I made a cream cheese Filling today, just use cream cheese. I put a little vanilla in it. And I like chocolate, so I chopped up some nice chocolate, put some chocolate in that, and creamed it up. A traditional cannoli consists of ricotta cheese filling. You need to use a nice dry ricotta cheese. The store brand works. It has a lot of milk content to it. You need to really drain it off and strain it to try to get as dry as you can. Then you would add powdered sugar to it, sweeten it up. Some people add a dried candy fruit to it. Also the chocolate to it too. It's whatever you kind of want to for your own taste. You can use a cream cheese, you can use a mascarpone cheese. Any type of a sweet cheese will work nice in it. So you can even do savory ones. You know, maybe put some herbs in a nice butter filling. You can fill them with that. Maybe a chicken salad filling. You can kind of change it up a little bit. You can use a nice pastry cream. I know in my last segment I showed you guys how to do a pastry cream. Pastry cream will work nice in those too. It gives you a nice flavor with the shell itself. So I got my dough rolled out. Dust it with a little flour, and you want to dock it. And what the docking does, it's keeps the dough from blistering up when it goes into the fryer. That way you don't have the little air pockets, air bubbles on it. And I'm using a round cutter. It's about a 4-inch cutter. You can use a 3-inch cutter. You can use a little bigger one. It just depends on the size of the tube you're using and how big of a cannoli you want to make too. Let's go ahead and I'm going to cut these. Got them cut. I'm using just a plain metal tube. Cannoli tube is, there's different sizes, but this is more of a tube that I would use for making cream horns, but that does work for my cannolis. It has to be metal, of course, because I'll go into the fryer with it. About the standard length of them. They're hollow in the middle. Take your dough that you cut, and you can stretch it just a little bit, kind of get more of a little length on it. Take my cannoli tube and wrap it around the tube. And then I'll take a little water, just on my fingertip. And the water acts like glue for the dough, so that when you wrap the dough over it, it will stick to it, and it will seal it up so that it doesn't come open when you put them in the fryer to fry. Do one more here. The dough's not real sticky. Okay, now I got my tubes wrapped. Just want to make sure I got them sealed good. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop them in the fryer. You want to fry them use a deep fat fryer. You can use a pan at home with oil in it. You want to make sure you got at least 375. Okay. Go ahead and drop them in your fryer. They take a good 3 to 4 minutes to fry. You want a nice golden brown color to them. And when they come out, this is what your cannoli shells will look like when they come out of the fryer. You can kind of see where I seamed them up here. They do break loose a little bit. A nice golden brown color. Now for my filling, take my cream cheese filling that I made. And you want your cream cheese, and if you're using like a cream cheese, out of the dairy cooler, you want to have it fairly softened so that you can cream it up nice. Add your powdered sugar to it, and there's no ratio of powdered sugar I use in my cream cheese. It's kind of to my taste, the sweetness that you like. Like I said, I add a little vanilla to this because I like vanilla, and I added chocolate to it too, just to kind of give it that little nice flavor to it. Just take a pastry bag with a plain tip in it. Just gonna squeeze it and fill it full. Okay. There's a couple ways you can finish these off, garnish them off. You can take powdered sugar and sift a little powdered sugar over top. You can take some chocolate, melt some chocolate, drizzle some chocolate over them. Also, you can take the shells and dip them in the chocolate, maybe not all the way, but kind of on an angle. Gives a nice presentation as far as plate presentation. These I'm just going to take the powdered sugar, just in a basket sieve, just kind of dust them a little bit lightly. Take your plate. Then you have yourself a nice cannoli pastry dessert.